Apart from the stories I've collected at the convention, I had the chance to chat to a few other tattooed women and learn about what they think.
Started getting tattooed underage at the age of 17, and I've always loved tattoos. Ever since I was a kid, I was always fascinated by them, and my mum's first reaction was like, oh my god, why would you do that? That's disgusting, it's horrible. It was just a tiny little star, my first one, but she still thought it was like the worst thing in the world. But they kind of just like grew to accept it, I guess. Well, they have no choice now. I feel like more of myself when I have tattoos. Like the more tattoos I get, I feel more like, I don't know, Lauren. I feel like more me.
My mum has always been into tattoos. She has tattoos herself. She's pro tattoos and not for piercings, which for me is really weird because piercings, you can take them out. Tattoos are like very permanent. And when I was 15, I used to get piercings a lot, like behind my mum's back, and she didn't like them. She's like, instead get a tattoo, get a tattoo. So a woman came to my house and I got like a black panther on my leg. It looked like a dog actually. It was really, really bad at the time. And my sister recommended me to a tattoo place which is near my house. I went there and got it fixed up and the panther's all nice and new now.
So how many tattoos approximately do you have now, or do you know the exact number?
I don't know the exact number. I think I stopped counting at like 30. It's definitely over 30 now. I'm saying it's 30 to 40 now. Don't know about going onto my neck and face. I definitely want my hands tattooed. I've got most of my back tattooed. I'm just starting on my legs now, and I've got a few gaps in my arms here and there. But I don't think I'd ever be one of those extremely tattooed people that, you know, no space on their skin at all.
I have 9 tattoos at the moment and counting. Okay, for me, tattoos is art. Do you know what I mean? My body's a canvas, so I want to tattoo it up. Black ink is really like my kind of style. I like really dark, like manly tattoos. Yeah, like skulls and roses and things like that, like really just mannish.
In my research survey completed by over 100 tattooed women, the majority of them talked about having a deeper meaning behind their ink.
Yes, it's about the artwork, but it's more about me kind of reclaiming my skin. It's about me reclaiming myself. I would rather have, because I'm also quite overweight, so I'd rather have people look at me with regard to the ink that I have, as opposed to like the size of my body, for example. I was dating a guy that was a little bit like quite emotionally like controlling. He said, no, but you can't get more tattoos because I have to look at you. I've got to look at your skin and I'm telling you, you can't get more. So he said the only way that you can get a new tattoo is if you cover one of your old ones. I then went and had a bird to cover my wrist tattoo. It's very symbolic of how I was feeling at the time where I wanted to be free of this relationship that I was in. I got a jellyfish on my arm. And that's also very symbolic for me in the sense that it's about kind of not forcing things and just letting things flow, you know, because a lot of the time I'm the kind of person that I have to be in control of everything. And the jellyfish is symbolic that this jellyfish is able to survive through simply the currents of the ocean.
And she's already planning her next one.
One of my students from the film school where I'm teaching part-time, she has one of those semicolons on her wrist, you know, to represent the people that have died in suicide and things like that. My cousin committed suicide a few years ago. He and I were the same age, and he was suffering from very severe depression. The next tattoo I want is one of those.
As a tattoo vlogger, Lauren's involvement with tattoo culture goes past collecting the artwork.
I can't remember what my first video was. I think it was like 10, oh my gosh, what was it? 10 things all tattooed people go through or something like that. I don't know, it's just trying to be relatable to people that have tattoos, because we always get the same questions. I can see you've got one on your shoulder. So you've probably had the same questions of like, why would you do that to yourself? What does this mean? And it's those repetitive questions we get all the time. So I thought I'd make a video about that. And I wanted to be known as like a tattoo vlogger.
And do you ever get sort of like silly comments or questions from people who are not tattooed that you just think like that's just intrusive or rude?
I definitely get asked if I'm tattooed in any rude places by people. Answer is no. But like, it's just like, why would you ask that to some stranger? And the other thing that happens a lot to me is people will grab me, like physically touch me to look at my tattoos. And it's just like, I wouldn't go up to someone who has a nice scarf or a nice jumper or a nice haircut and start groping them because I like what they're wearing. Do you know what I mean?
And do you think that by educating those people about tattoo culture, you help them become more accepting of people who are tattooed?
Definitely. I've done a few videos like that to try and break down the stigma of not all tattooed people are criminals or drug addicts or, you know, delinquents, whatever the old stereotype is. We're all normal people. We all have like normal jobs. It's definitely been a big change within, I'd say, the past 5 years maybe, of, you know, jobs accepting tattoos and stuff like that. Because when I first started working in retail, every job I applied for was like, no visible tattoos, you can't look tattooed, you can't have funky hair colours.
I wanted to see whether they thought it's still more acceptable for men to be tattooed than for women to be.
I want to say yes and I want to say no. I feel like with the older generation, yes, for sure. I always get called manly by people over the age of like 50 or whatever, but that's something else that is definitely changing, especially with more and more female tattoo artists coming about. When I first started getting tattooed, I didn't know of any female tattoo artists.
That's the thing, is to remember again that the woman's body doesn't belong to her. It belongs to society. And when you try and take your skin back for yourself and you want to put art on your skin and stuff like that, then people are horrified because they're like, but how dare you? I'm now more likely to get a tattoo somewhere where on skin that is exposed in order to kind of, you know, just be myself. I don't care who I'm meeting. I'm going to meet the Pope and he can look at my tattoos if he wants to, because I don't care anymore.
Definitely. I feel like I said before, people see it as manly to get tattoos. And even when I first got my tattoos, everyone's like to me, what are you going to do on your wedding day? No one's going to find you attractive. It's not going to look nice. And I'm just like, we're living in a different world now, you know what I mean? Guys wear makeup, girls get tattoos, you know, it's whatever you want to do.